As we noted in the previous sessions, in the late 18th century, the education of blind people experienced a period of strong vitality, during which numerous inventions, experiments, and new institutions spread across many regions of Europe. The shared goal was to find an effective and stable tactile writing system, capable of guaranteeing blind people access to reading and, if possible, also to autonomous writing. The attempts were numerous and varied, but each contributed to building the movement that would forever transform the cultural life of blind people. In Austria, Johann Wilhelm Klein, 1765 to 1848, founder of the Vienna Institute and inventor of a relief writing method that used a stylus to trace letters perceptible with the fingertips, distinguished himself. His system, although still tied to the visual shape of the alphabet, represented a concrete step forward toward tactile literacy. In France, shortly afterwards, Maurice Ballu, 1799 to 1869, proposed a system that used small lead cubes with embossed letters. The lines were no longer continuous but dotted, making them more distinguishable by touch. It was a laborious and slow method since each character required many points to be traced, but for the first time, blind people could write independently using special tablets. In Great Britain, research moved toward systems that reproduced or simplified traditional characters. James Gall Sr., 1784–1874, with the contribution of James Gall Jr., 1810–1894, developed a raised letter reading system for blind people, consisting of an embossed alphabet with more geometric shapes, based on the belief that it was important to maintain a connection with the letters used by sighted readers. John Alston, 1779–1846, treasurer of the Edinburgh Institute, founded an internal printing press with which he printed Bibles, prayer books, and poetic texts in tactile type, giving blind Scots the possibility of accessing a real library. Also active in this period was James Frere, 1776–1866, who invented a phonetic method inspired by Gurney's stenography. His most curious innovation was the layout of the text, with lines read alternately from left to right and from right to left, so that the hand did not have to return to the beginning of the page each time. The idea was original, but it did not find wide application. In Italy, too, significant developments took place throughout the entire 19th century. Monsignor Luigi Vitali, 1800–1875, rector of the Institute for the Blind in Milan, introduced the use of raised ink, a technique that made the words slightly emerge from the page and be perceived with the fingers. The method was fragile since the raised parts wore down easily, but it showed the willingness to experiment with practical solutions within the reach of Italian institutions. It is worth noting that in Italy, the first institute for blind young people was founded in Naples in 1818, followed by the Domenico Martischelli Institute in 1873, the Configliacchi Institute in Padua in 1838, and the Institute in Milan in 1840. Soon, other cities created similar institutions, signaling the beginning of a true educational movement. In the middle of the century, the figure of Thomas Armitage, 1824–1890, a British physician and philanthropist, emerged. Aware of the confusion generated by the multiplicity of systems in use, Armitage founded the British and Foreign Society for Improving the Embossed Literature of the Blind, and fought determinedly for the adoption of a single universal code. He saw Braille as the most effective solution, and thanks to his tireless commitment, the system of Louis Braille became definitively established in the United Kingdom, opening the way to a process of unification that would bring order to many parallel methods. All these figures, from Klein to Ballu, from Gall to Alston, from Frere to Moon, and finally to Vitali and Armitage, outline a century of attempts, inventions, and pedagogical battles. Each of them sought, in different ways, to offer blind people an accessible written language. Some methods were lost, others remained in use for decades, but all were fundamental pieces of a journey that led to the establishment of Braille and to a new way of understanding the education of blind people as a right and as a tool for emancipation.